Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which I didn't really have a whole lot of high expectations. So actually, I kind of had really low expectations for this because I wasn't the hugest fan of Jurassic World. I thought it was fun for a decent amount of it. Like, I'm a big person on characters, and like no matter what big kind of thrills you're doing, if you're you really have to have some great characters for me, or things have to be fantastically well done. Something like a film like Dunkirk, where it's like the characters really, they were just people, and they didn't have a whole lot of they didn't really have personality, honestly. And I really felt like the human characters were lacking in Jurassic World a lot because they were just like caricatures, and I feel like what's missing here with all these Jurassic Park, the Jurassic Park reboot is what made the first one special, and a lot of it was the characters, and they're very interesting characters. There's a reason why we remember Dr. Alan Grant and Ian Malcolm, and even like I remember some of like Mr. Arnold, Samuel L. Jackson's character, like hold on to your butts. And like Muldoon, it's like clever girl. It's like even the really tiny characters had really memorable things about them, and I felt like the first Jurassic World didn't really bring that, and this film really doesn't either. And I think that's one of the big disappointing things for me. But to get started, where like the positives, I really appreciated the work that J.A. Bayona did as director. I loved the monster calls, and I was hoping that he would bring a lot of that to this film. It's a really well shot film. There's some really good tension built up throughout some of the scenes in this film, and I feel like Jay Bayona really elevated this film past especially the writing. And it was well shot by Oscar Bora, and there were some scenes that were very intense and some great camera work, and that's more the positive thing. Is like this is what puts that above Jurassic World for me. The first one was that this had a little bit more technical expertise, and there was some more practical effects in this than the first one. But honestly, it didn't seem like there was that much. But Michael Giacchino's score I thought was fantastic, and he's on a roll. He's a fantastic composer, and I'm really glad that he's getting a lot of work in Hollywood, because he is really he's like doing The Incredibles. He did this. He did so many other great scores, and he really does a great job in this, especially because he's trying to fill in the shoes of John Williams, and that's a really tough job, and he really made it his own. I appreciated the darker tone of this film more than Jurassic World, because I feel like one of the best parts of the first Jurassic Park film was like it balanced that sentimental, awe-inspiring moments of seeing dinosaurs alive, but it also balanced some very intense, dark moments, and it brought a lot of thrills to that film. And this film really had some moments that were able to carry that, and there's some strong emotional moments. There's one scene in particular that's like blowing up the internet because it's like devastating, and there are some parts in this that do really hit emotionally. There's some good humor. There's a couple of lines that I enjoyed, but overall, it's not a whole lot. And I really appreciate the production design. I thought that the mansion that they worked in for like the second half of this film, I thought was really interesting, including like the dinosaur room with all the fossils and stuff like that. I appreciated the design of that, and there's some potentially cool ideas with this. But to segue into my negatives, it didn't really pull it together, and the story's all over the place and thematically troublesome to me, honestly, because it's like, I heard this in another review, and I thought this was a very interesting point, and I wanted to bring this up, is this idea that what was the lesson we learned from the first Jurassic Park is not to meddle in what's going on with nature. And like Ian Malcolm was this, he knew, he was the one from the beginning that it's just like, you should have listened to me. And like he pops up in this film for like a couple minutes, and just to be like reassure us, hey, you're still doing something dumb, And maybe nature should wipe them back out. They were wiped out for a reason the first time. And it's just like, and everybody else is all gung ho, let's save the dinosaurs and stuff like that. And it's just like, is that a good idea? And it's a bit messy all over the place. And I guess I'm trying to look more deep into a film that not a whole lot of people want to, I guess. But the first Jurassic Park brought up some really good ideas, and I guess I am harping a little bit much on expectations of the first Jurassic Park film, but it's like nothing's matched it. Ever since Jurassic Park, everything has been okay or bad, like Jurassic Park 3, and it's just disappointing, and they're not focusing on what made that film work in the first place. The story is strange, and there's some beats in this that are a little too much for me. I'm just like, why is this going here? And there's a few parts where it's like, there's a very crazy like idea that gets brought up in this film that should have a lot more of an impact in the moment that it becomes a revelation, and it just like quickly edits to the next thing, and it's just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, you don't even get time to breathe to understand the weight of what was just said, and it's just like, okay. And like I mentioned before, like, the characters are really shallow. There's like nothing, nobody goes on like an arc, I guess, except like maybe Bryce Dallas Howard's character, but for the most part it's just like they're static. They start one place and just go through the same thing throughout the whole film, and it is what it is. And like, Chris Pratt's doing Chris Pratt things, but he's not more interesting than just doing his Chris Pratt thing. And the places that this film goes is, I feel like, a little way too far and crazy. And there's some really annoying and bad characters in this that, and it's like, they're obviously set up as dinosaur fodder, and they're gonna get wrecked by some dinosaurs, and it's just like, you don't need to do stuff like that, because it's like, and by the time they did it, so it's like they're totally gonna get eaten by a dinosaur, and you knew it, and they weren't very interesting to begin with, so it's like, whatever. And there's some tonal issues with this film and what it's trying to balance and what it's trying to do, and the character decisions, a lot of them throughout this film are really dumb, like really dumb, and it's just like, why'd you do that? It's like, no person in the right mind would do that, and you did it anyway. And that's one of my big annoying things about in a lot of films, is how stupid it can be. And I guess my accumulated thoughts and ideas on this film are, it's like, if you really enjoyed Jurassic World, you'll probably enjoy this. I enjoyed it a little bit more than the first one, because at least I got some different kinds of things, but it doesn't make me any more excited for the last film of this trilogy. And at this point, it's just like, I'm not super excited about these films. I still have the first Jurassic Park. If you love the first Jurassic World, go out and see this. You'll enjoy it. If you weren't really high on this film's not going to change anything for you. It might make you even more frustrated, unfortunately, or disappointed. So honestly, if you really want to see this and going to see this, go out opening weekend, go see it. If you're not super interested, wait a couple weeks, and if you might want to try it out, don't do it for $13 or more, or just wait for it to stream. The thing is, this film is a big blockbuster and would probably be enjoyed better on a big screen, so wait a little bit if you're semi-interested, and if you're not, this film's not going to change your mind. So those are my thoughts on Jurassic World. Thank you for tuning in.